Hey everyone, MJ and Izzy here. We have an important story for you today. This is concerning legal action that is targeting fraudulent fees that are affecting many RVers and campers. So this story comes from RVtravel.com and it's dated February 25th, 2023. Now, this is a federal lawsuit that has been filed in Virginia, which could completely change the way Recreation.gov operates.
Why does this affect many RVers and campers? Well, Recreation.gov is the official website that you must use to reserve many federal campsites and recreational areas. That's the only way you can reserve these things. You would think that Recreation.gov is run by the federal government because it has that .gov, but it's actually not. And we're going to tell you who's running it and what kind of shady business they're doing.
So since 2018, the government outsourced the operation of Recreation.gov to Booz Allen Hamilton. I want to make sure I get that right. They're out of Virginia. They are a consulting firm and a major U.S. federal contractor. Now, during this time, they redesigned the website and they began taking reservations.
And with that, they started to become a new kind of fee structure for services that include array of fees of making campground reservations, acquiring hiking and river rafting permits, drive-through vehicle permits for national parks and monuments, and other recreational activities. Recreation.gov reveals no disclosure that the site is operated by any entity other than federal land agencies, but again, that's not the reality. It's actually a for-profit consulting company.
And it's being labeled, they were saying, Ticketmaster style fees. You know how when you get tickets or there's just fees
StubHub
for
and all
everything.
That nonsense.
Yes.
So we're going to talk about some more of the fees here and how much it's actually affecting people.
On February 11th of this year, 2023, the Washington, D.C. law firm, let's get the name for you, Tycho and Zavary, I think it is. LLP filed a lawsuit against Booz Allen Hamilton over the fees. There are 7 plaintiffs involved in this class action lawsuit. They are requesting certification as a class action. Now, the plaintiffs are seeking more than $5 million in refunds of the fees. Now, this is where I said, where the law firm calls junk fees, Ticketmaster style junk fees, and compensatory and punitive damages.
So in the complaint, the plaintiffs state their case by holding Booz Allen, a multi-billion-dollar for-profit federal contractor responsible for forcing American consumers to pay Ticketmaster-style junk fees to access national parks and other recreational lands in violation of the Federal Lands Recreational Enhancement Act. The complaint cites many so-called junk fees to include, it's going to be park access reservation fees, processing fees, reservation fees, permit fees, lottery fees, and cancellation fees. The lawsuit differentiates between the so-called junk fees and the bogus fees and does not include use fees, which are lawfully charged and retained by the federal agencies and not paid to Booz Allen. So all those fees we talked about, except for the use fees, that's money in the pocket for Booz Allen.
So there are 13 federal agencies that use Recreation.gov for the reservation services, and we'll just mention some of them. A big one is BLM, okay, the Bureau of Land Management. Many of these you've heard of, the Bureau of Reclamation, U.S. Army Corps of Engineers is another big one. They process
National Park Service.
Yes,
huge. Yes.
They process more than 9 million transactions just in 2021 alone.
Yeah, and this is not the first time Booz Allen has been summoned to court. According to court testimony in Katab versus Bureau of Land Management in 2022, it was a case challenging the Bureau of Land Management Authority to assess $2 processing fees to enter Red Rock Canyon National Area, which we were at. The court ruled that the $2 fee violated the FLREA, which we just mentioned up above. While collecting and dispersing the processing fees, money is collected through Recreation.gov, routed to the U.S. Treasury, and then it goes back to Booz Allen. I wonder, they must have some big connections, Booz Allen.
Probably. So even if one of these federal agencies does not have a fee, such as a timed entry fee, when we went to the Hoover Dam and things like that, we had those timed entry permits, they will still have a processing fee. So even if the federal agency wasn't charging a fee, they would charge a fee.
So millions of reservations from 2002 to 2018, the federal government ran Recreation.gov, but then 2018, Booz Allen took over. It was done under an exclusive contract that court documents assert gave the consulting firm broad discretion, autonomy, independent of federal agencies. Man, those lobby groups work really well.
First problem.
Along with the exclusive authority to determine the amount of the fees charged to the customers through Recreation.gov. What I find really disgusting is that there's no way you would have known this, right? Like, there's no way you would have known you're giving money to a private for-profit consulting firm.
Right, and then
using that .gov.
What really upsets me is, we'll get to this in a minute, is the plaintiffs that were in this case, and just the people. I mean, everybody was affected. We were affected. We were there. But the people that were really affected, it's not good. So with this class action lawsuit, the suit actually divides the plaintiffs into different classes. And this is really what bothers me, is that you start thinking of the people that were actually affected. So here are the classes that is in the suit. A national class, including every consumer who paid fees through Recreation.gov, military veterans, disabled veterans, Gold Star families, survivors of U.S. military personnel killed in action. It's disgusting.
It really is.
And specific aggrieved consumers who are residents of the states of California, Florida, New York, Utah, and Washington.
And again, these are not fees that are going to the federal government. These are fees that are going to a for-profit consulting firm that the federal government decided that they were going to give this vast authority to just charge people to use taxpayer-funded federal lands and federal properties.
So the article states this Wilson versus Booz Allen Hamilton, which is the lawsuit, has the potential to impact every person in the United States who has used Recreation.gov to make a reservation.
All such persons covered under the inclusion of the national class action lawsuit. If successful, plaintiffs will receive restitution of the fees not allowed by the FLREA and could score compensatory and punitive damages as well. The case also asked the court to enjoin the defendant from continuing to charge the disputed fees and to force them to provide truthful, accurate, prominently displayed disclosures to consumers that reflect the Booz Allen operation, Recreation.gov. Well, that could have been done by the politicians who allowed this to happen. That certainly could have been part of it, but I have a feeling that that was purposely left out, but that's just our opinion.
So we have another really, really important quick update about something
this good news.
Yeah, this is really good news. And we have a request for you, so just hang on for a second and let's give this one update.
Yeah, so this is from RV Business, February 23rd, 2023. If you've been watching YouTube or just camping escapees, South Dakota had some bills that were up in their legislation, and it would have impacted full-time RVers or anybody that had a domicile in South Dakota but did not have a permanent address there. Essentially, it was not allowing those people to vote. And you can go back and you can read the bill. Specifically, it was South Dakota Senate Bill 124 and the House Bill 1232. Well, escapees and the South Dakota legislature has reported that that bill is essentially dead.
It was deferred to the 41st day
of the legislative.
Yes, which doesn't exist.
Right, because there can't be more than 40 legislative days. So it's done. You can go, and if you want to have a domicile in South Dakota, you can do that, and you don't have to have a permanent resident, which is great for RVers.
Yes. All right, so this is what we want from you. In the comments below, let us know, have you been affected by Recreation.gov fees?
Also, did you even know that Recreation.gov was run by a for-profit company? And how do you think that happened? Just put it in the comments below. We're just curious. To the left of us, if you like videos like this, we're gonna put our RV news playlist. We'll also put our RV newbies playlist to the left of us. And for myself and MJ, it's a journey of a lifetime, and we'll see you on the road.